Influence is a journey. Influence has the power to transform nations, inspire hope and infinite possibilities, shaping, moving and cultivating the future, designing spaces, places and transformation against the odds. The time has come to celebrate the bold achievement of African leaders, torchbearers of the African continent, thinkers, educators, scientists, activists, philanthropists, and dream chasers. Courageous men and women who place Africa on the world map. Globally recognized as the voice of Africa. The African of the Year Award, defining and celebrating the spirit of achievement and excellence in Africa. Hello everyone, welcome to this very special broadcast of the unveiling of the 2020 African of the Year Award. I am Fifi Peters. It is my honor to be with you tonight. African of the Year is a Forbes Africa annual award that is in its third year. The award winner is chosen from his or her prominence on the world stage and impact in Africa. The first African of the Year award was made at a glittering occasion in 2018 to recognize the extraordinary achievements by a leader on the African continent. This individual is globally recognized, locally respected. The individual can come from sports or science or entertainment, business or politics, and this individual will grace the cover of Forbes Africa magazine accordingly.
The people of my country, Rwandans, no question about it. They make me happy, they do me proud that what we've been trying to do together, they respond even to the extent that is more than I expected, and we have been doing this, trying to bring recovery to our country for many years now, and it has always been progress year in, year out, and I couldn't have, I'm never alone. I never could even achieve anything alone. So that is very clear. The second is, you see, this award, even as we talk about it, I'm trying to bear in mind that there are many other success stories in one sector or many things or others in any other country of our continent. So there is this background that actually there is progress being made on the continent. It's the people who are behind the creation of this award. It's huge, it's important, it's meaning they have focused on Africa. They are telling the African story. Really, and enabling Africans to tell their own story. And therefore, Africa increasingly is shaping its own narrative through that. So whether it is CNBC or Forbes, Africa, I mean, I just say thank you because in recognizing us.
And the 2019 All African of the Year is Dr. Akinwumi Adesina.
My goal every day is to make things better for Africa. I'm grateful for the mark of confidence reposed in me and the heavy responsibility I carry for our continent and your appreciation of the work that I am doing and the efforts that we are making collectively. But I do not walk alone. I am inspired by the people of the continent.
To find out more about the history and the importance of the African of the Year Award, I welcome my colleague and CNBC Africa's Editor-in-Chief, Godfrey Mutizwa, who will be talking to two of the leaders behind the award.
Thank you, Fifi. And thank you, Roberta. Thank you, Renu, for joining me. Roberta, let me start with you. It's a crowded field, of course, this award field. And I wanted to know from you what you're trying to achieve with these awards.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. It truly is, such an honor and an absolute privilege to be here tonight and to announce the winner for this year, for the 2020 African of the Year, albeit very differently to what we had actually envisaged last year. Last year, in my address at the All Africa Business Leaders Awards, I spoke about this exemplary courage shown by both our political and business leaders who spoke up and brought about this change that has now set the African continent on this path of governance, accountability, and recovery. And we have, for the past 9 years, gone out to identify and recognize these leaders, as we believe that they deserve the honor, and this recognition should be celebrated. These are basically ordinary men and women who have taken extraordinary decisions and conducted themselves with honor to achieve their goals. So the African of the Year is just one of these categories from the All Africa Business Leaders Awards. We won't be hosting ABLA this year because of the pandemic, but it is indeed an honor to announce that we have still decided to announce the African of the Year for 2020.
Yeah. And Renu, when you look, of course, around the African continent, as indeed around the world, it's been 1 year of challenges, and I'm sure there must have been many other worthy winners of this year for 2020. Tell me about the criteria and how you arrived at the winner.
So Godfrey, it's indeed a privilege to be here talking about the African of the Year for 2020. If I have to go back to the last 2 years and look at the criteria that we adopted for 2018 and 2019, 2018 was Rwandan President Paul Kagame. 2019, we had the President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. The criteria we adopt as an editorial team is very clear. They have to be internationally recognized, renowned as global leaders. They have to be icons of repute. They have to be nation builders and to have created positive impact on the African continent. They should have distinguished careers as public and private sector servants, or it could be a mix of both. And they should have significant achievements in the global arena and championing the economic development of Africa. Those are very important factors in deciding the African of the Year. And this we have sort of, it's been set in stone for the last 2 years, and this is exactly what we did this year. And a very clear contender emerged from among some of the most prominent Africans on the global stage this year.
Yeah. And Roberta, 2020, of course, one day will be a footnote in history. We will talk about it and refer to it in the past. But the awards will, of course, run on. Talk to me about the future and what you envisage it will be like.
Absolutely, Godfrey. As we navigate the challenges of a rapidly evolving industry, further disrupted by COVID-19, our focus still remains on using this crisis as an opportunity to catalyze change by leveraging our strengths for the future, both as a conventional broadcaster and a digital media company. So our long-term strategy will continue to provide our clients and viewers with this insightful and engaging content through this innovative digital and broadcasting solutions. So as mentioned, we had originally hoped that with countries going into level 1, we were hoping to use this hybrid model for our premier events, and the All Africa Business Leaders Awards was one of them. But due to the concern around the second wave, we decided, we were going to be responsible, and we decided not to host the events. So events will remain a strong part of the strategy going into 2021, as the focus lies. Our focus lies in getting business leaders together to start evaluating opportunities across the continent, particularly when you're looking at cross-border investments, etc. So for these conversations to be meaningful, we need to look at the basics, and we need to see the practicality of these investment initiatives and these discussions. And these important conversations these are important conversations for this tomorrow, this prosperous tomorrow that we desperately seek. It may not necessarily be this conference or an event as we all know it to be in the past, but it certainly is going to be a hybrid between a physical event and a virtual event going into the future. So yes, we will continue to watch the space and grow on this for 2021, whilst still considering all the changes that has happened in the landscape because of the pandemic.
Ladies, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Godfrey, Roberta Naika, and Renuka Metal for those insights. And now the time has arrived to bring you the 2020 African of the Year. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Nigerian-born economist and internationally renowned development expert. Okonjo-Iweala has served twice as Nigeria's finance minister, becoming the first woman to hold this position. Under her leadership, Nigeria emerged as the largest and strongest economy in Africa. She has held several key positions at the World Bank, scaling the ranks to the #2 position of managing director. Today, Okonjo-Iweala serves as the chair of GAVI, the Global Alliances for Vaccines and Immunizations, working hard to make vaccines available to poor countries and enable equal access to the COVID-19 vaccine. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala has been listed as one of the Transparency International's anti-corruption fighters who inspire, Fortune 50 Greatest World Leaders, Forbes Top 10 Most Influential Women in Africa, and 100 Most Influential People in the World by Time magazine. With multiple awards and honors to her name, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has risen to the top as the most respected economist in the world. She's an inspiration and pride of Africa.
I'm delighted, honored, and humbled to receive this great recognition of African of the Year. I follow in the footsteps of two distinguished brothers, His Excellency Paul Kagame and Dr. Adesina. I thank Forbes for creating and supporting this award and honoring me as the 2020 recipient. 2020 has been an extraordinarily difficult year. At the beginning of this year, no one could have imagined a pandemic that would hit Africa and the world from both a health and economic standpoint, making so many ill, taking lives and livelihoods. I'm very proud of the way the continent united to fight the pandemic under the leadership of the AU and His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa. On a personal note, I also could not have foreseen my nomination by my country to join the competition to lead the WTO. It has been a really grueling affair with many ups and downs, twists and turns. We won through, but we are still in the battle to finalize the position. It would be the first time a woman and an African would lead this important multilateral organization, the World Trade Organization, and its predecessor, GATT, in the past 75 years. Throughout the competition, I have felt the support of Africa, encouraging me and urging me on. Without this, I would not have succeeded. Africa wants to trade its way to prosperity and not depend on aid. For that reason, the continent has created for the first time the African Continental Free Trade Area to enable us trade more with each other without the usual borders and barriers. The World Trade Organization could strongly support this important economic endeavor of the continent. A reformed World Trade Organization can work better for all 164 members, making prosperity achievable and achieving sustainability for all. That is why I want the job. to lift up the living standards of Africans and indeed of fellow citizens all over the world, to tackle inequality, improve the lives of women, and build hope and resilience in our pandemic-ravaged world. As we exit 2020, I look forward to a better 2021, where every single one of us in Africa can be filled with hope. Thank you, and God bless.
So it is a big congratulations to Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who is the African of the Year Award. Renu, I imagine this was a very difficult task considering the huge amount of work that's being put by various leaders in Africa. How did you arrive at Dr. Okonjo-Iweala?
Godfrey, in a historic year, I mean, with the global COVID-19 pandemic, we needed somebody who was a role model, somebody we could all look up to, somebody we could look up to with hope for a better 2021. And here was Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who did distinguished work, particularly this year, in advancing the cause of Africa for vaccine research as the chair of GAVI. She has, in the past, immunized 760 million children around the world. And now she's fighting for equal access to the COVID-19 vaccine. And this is for the poorest of the poor nations. Now, this is not discounting the work that she's already done. She's been the finance minister of Nigeria she served as the finance minister for 2 terms, as a foreign minister. In both cases, she was the very first woman at the helm, and now she's in the race as the top runner for the Director General of the World Trade Organization. This is again at a time when the world needs a better facilitator for the World Trade Organization, when there should be more multilateral trade. And she, if she does get through and win, which we will know soon, the decision is still pending, she will again be shattering another glass ceiling as the very first African and the very first woman to head a global body like the WTO. So she's got plenty of accomplishments. She's a globally renowned economist. And what I like about her and reading about her work is her deliberate, purposeful attention to global problems or even problems for Africa. And we must remember that in working for international organizations, she's been a very senior international development economist and global leader. She's worked for the World Bank as well for 25 years. She was a managing director there. I think it's a purposeful impact for the African continent, and that is what we need. We need somebody who can spearhead some of those reforms and again bring the COVID-19 vaccine to Africa. She's working towards drumming up $5 billion next year in enabling the resource optimization of the vaccine. I think this year has been her work has been extremely impactful. And it just remains to be seen, I mean, as the WTO chief, if she does become the DG, what she will bring to the world and Africa.
Renu Kamethul, editor of Forbes Africa, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to see you all, and I would like to thank my dear friend, Mr. Rakesh Wahi, the co-founder and the vice chairman of CNBC Africa, and who also is in charge of Forbes Africa. I am delighted to be here tonight to congratulate the African of the Year for 2020, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. We've known each other for so many years. We've worked together as ministers in Nigeria under the government of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, she was Minister of Finance and I was Minister of Agriculture. She challenged me, oh my goodness, and I did challenge her a lot. We made each other better. You can imagine my tenacity and Ngozi's tenacity. That's enough to give powerful energy to change things. I remember one day I told her, I don't need extra budget from you, Minister. I'll make you more money from agriculture. She was absolutely stunned. She said she'd never seen a minister who did not want more budget from a Minister of Finance, but rather says he'll make more money for the government. Well, we did exactly what I said. Agriculture in Nigeria was dramatically revolutionized into agriculture as a business, with rapid decline in food imports and dramatic increases in local food production. We got $5.3 billion, believe me, attracted in investment to the sector. We went from being colleague ministers then, to pursuing platforms for shaping regional and global development issues. Now, she led my campaign for president of the African Development Bank in 2015 as the governor of Nigeria to the African Development Bank. Now, I still vividly recall her running to the stage with huge and bubbling excitement when I won the election and giving me this very big sisterly hug. Well, I'm glad today to have the opportunity to give you my own hug, well, at least virtually, to celebrate you. Your accomplishments are exemplary. She's been named one of the 50 greatest women leaders by Fortune magazine. She's been included in the top 100 most influential people in the world by the Time magazine, and in the top most powerful women in the world by Forbes magazine. Amazing. The awards have not missed her, but also you cannot miss Ngozi out in a crowd. The strength of her ideas, her passion, her tenacity will always come across. You can never mistake anyone for her, of course, with her unique head tie. She is an example of someone who fights for what she believes in, an effective builder of bridges and of partnerships. At a time when the world needs leaders who understand complexity and are able to build effective bridges to advance multilateralism, Ngozi stands out as a voice that cannot be ignored. Africa is proud of Ngozi, and I'm really enormously proud of her. Last year, I was greatly honored to have been selected as the African of the Year following President Paul Kagame of Rwanda. It's more than an award. It comes with a huge responsibility to carry and move forward the aspirations of our beautiful continent. I'm delighted to pass the baton to you, my big sister Ngozi. Congratulations again on being African of the Year. I hope to be able to give you another congratulation with a hug, hopefully soon, as Director General of the World Trade Organization. Congratulations, everybody.
A hearty congratulations to Dr. Okonjo-Iweala on this well-deserved honor. Forbes Africa could not have selected a more appropriate person as the Africa Person of the Year. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala is a pride to society, a pride to women, a pride to Africa, and a pride to Nigeria. She has distinguished herself this year through her leadership of GAVI, the Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization, which ensures equal access to immunization for all nations of the world. She was also one of the African Union envoys on resource mobilization to enable African countries to work together to adequately respond to COVID-19. Most importantly, she continues to exhibit today the same unique attributes that I observed about her when we first met in 1989, 31 years ago. We met at an event organized in her honor for her promotion to division manager at the World Bank. The unique attributes include humility, compassion, and a passionate desire to contribute to transforming society so that it responds to the needs of the vulnerable. They have enabled her to achieve manifests, including, of course, the first female Minister of Finance for Nigeria, and also the first female Minister of Foreign Affairs for Nigeria. My wish is that she will indeed also become the first ever female, as well as the first ever African Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO. Global trade and WTO need her to institute the reforms that will be required post-COVID-19 to foster trade and economic development. Congratulations, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Ngozi is a trailblazer. She is someone whose time in public service and on the international front has been marked by excellence. From her time as Nigeria's first female finance minister to when she was the managing director of the World Bank, and even now, her passion and commitment to making systems work for everyone in an equitable manner has always been highly admired and is highly commendable. I'm proud of the strides Ngozi continues to make, and I'm certain she will bring a much-needed order to the global trade body with her wealth of experience, expertise, and unique skill sets in a way that Africa and the world in general will benefit greatly.
And that brings us to the end of this very exciting announcement of the 2020 African of the Year Award, the first time that this award was presented virtually. We will be back next year with the 2021 African of the Year, which we trust will be in the glittering mode of the earlier Gala Awards events. Until then, from me, Fifi Peters, and the entire ABN Group team, it's good night.